Welcome to SEO conspiracy.com.
Okay, I need to go relieve myself. Just deal with the rest, Judith. I'll be back. No, okay, that was quick.
I know that we are the bedtime listening for some people, so there you go.
Let's. I think we can go hard on G-Spot SEO with the topic of the day, which is disavow, because I can see
Who
how
do you want to push out of your bed?
the forbidden fruit, and who do you want to? Maybe we can explain the definition of a bunny boiler. What was the movie?
Ooh.
What was the movie?
Basic Instinct, I think it was.
No.
Glenn Close.
No. Basic Instinct was
No?
was the other blonde,
What's
Sean
the other one?
Sean Stone, Michael Douglas, and Glenn Close. When she was the mistress and she boiled the family bunny.
Google tells me that it is Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction.
But believe it or not, it was 1987.
Yes. So if I said bunny boiler now, I'm gonna get cancelled by all you women. But a man could be a bunny boiler too. It's not it's not a gender thing, okay?
Absolutely not. While in Fatal Attraction it was the woman, it's very easy for it to be the man as well. So it can go either way.
You girls are so much smarter than us.
Our revenge is subtle.
Yeah. We are simple creatures. You know, everything is binary and simple, and we can't. No, we will never be able to go to the level of where you girls can, as far as creativity can go. When
so, are you saying that girls are better at disavow files than boys are?
I think girls,
because we're more creative and we look at nuance, and we're busy digging deep into the depths of the detail of your backlink profile. Everything I said is completely harmless. It's just the way I say it.
Okay. Let's dig deep
but it's true.
into the backlinks profile, because if we go G-Spot SEO, and like we always say, everything in the world is about sex, therefore G-Spot SEO, except sex, which is about power. So we're not talking about sex. We're talking about life, SEO, okay? Because it's all related. And yes, you are talking about digging deep because you are young, you're fresh into the world, and you got those hormones boiling, and you have only one idea in mind. Well, two: get drunk and fuck when you're a teenager. So website was born, okay, you're new, you party, and you want to get girls, and you're not very picky, let's say.
So you collect all the phone numbers in your phone.
Back then you would go hunting at 3 o'clock in the morning in any nightclub, and you will always find someone.
Yeah, but you're indiscriminate, right? You'll hook up with anybody. You'll link up with anybody.
Exactly.
So you'll do anything. And then one day you wake up, not necessarily with the person you went home with the night before, but something's a little itchy, and you realize that you shouldn't have just been sleeping with everything without protection. So then you have to look back at all of your links and see which one might have been the one that caused the itch. And then you get more discriminating in your hookups. And you use protection. So remember to follow those paid links, kids. But it's true. In the early days of your website, you're indiscriminate. You'll
Mm,
link up with anything, get a link from anywhere and anyone, and then you realize over time, either you realize you've been suppressed because you should be ranking better but aren't, or you get a penalty. You get an actual manual penalty. You have a message in your Google Search Console that you've been a naughty boy or girl. Girls can be naughty too, you know. Girls can go out and hook up with any girl or guy and collect all the phone numbers and then wake up one morning with an itch. So, you've got to be a discriminating girl or guy when it comes to links as well. So check if you've got a manual penalty, you've got to fix it. And it's not easy. But disavowing is often misused by
mm.
people who think, oh, I really should be ranking better for this term. And it's like a short tailed one word term, thesis or something like that. No, I'm sorry. You don't just deserve to be there. I know that everyone gets an award, everyone gets a prize, but that doesn't mean you should be ranking number one for every keyword you want to.
When I got confused is at first I thought the disavow file was useful only in the case of manual penalty.
Mm,
Then
mm.
they started to say, yeah, you can play around with the disavow file. Then some, I think it was Gary, I can't pronounce your last name, would say, no, the file is useless. we don't. So let me put my tinfoil hat on and pretend that, imagine you set up an algorithm to penalize links.
Yeah.
And
Mhm,
so you create this filter, and you want
mhm.
to create a data set, and
Yeah.
then you need human validation.
Yes.
So, what's better than penalizing a website because you have suspicions of foul play, and then the owner or the SEO or the, no, you don't call them webmasters anymore. I don't know how you call them. The people who take care of the websites. It's supposedly webmaster is an insult nowadays.
Oh, dear. I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah. So someone will disavow and confirm what the machine learning thought or not confirm. So
Hmm.
there's that part of the disavow file that is again tinfoil. This is a SEO conspiracy. I can it's just my opinion, but knowing how training machine learning works, how this whole Penguin manual filter was a disaster, letting people wait 18 months between two refreshes is just not human. You got no heart, Google. Uh, so yeah, and especially when I see what's left of Penguin into the core algorithm, which is not much. Optimize anchor text, maybe velocity. They will pull a red flag, but not. I mean, it's not as
Those are the
violent as.
biggest ones, though. I mean, think
Yeah.
about it. If you are manufacturing your backlink profile, velocity is gonna be one of the big
Mm.
keys. And if you're stupid, then you're using optimized anchor text. I mean, not really. Now that I've started to go on Clubhouse and do these, like, site audits just, on Clubhouse, and you look at the backlink profiles of some people and you're like, "Really? You think you're not gonna get a penalty off that? Good luck, schmuck." Um, People are still building shitty links with exact match anchor
Mm.
text for what they wanna rank for, and it doesn't work. You end up with a suppression penalty. You don't rank number 1, you rank number 3, or you rank number 5, just below the fold. So we've trained, I mean, Google has really well trained the algorithm to recognize, but velocity and anchor text are going to be your two biggest
Red flags
flags.
for sure.
And really, what else much do you need? Now, the disavow, a lot of SEOs thought that Google was using the disavow as a way of training the algorithm. The number of people, however, who disavow YouTube links and who disavow Google and who disavow all sorts of things just based on the fact that they have links and they think that they should be ranking better and they're not. And so they disavow everything. That's wrong. That's not the way it was meant to be used. And because it is being used that way, if you train the machine on that, you're training it on a bad data set. So you can't just blindly use disavow files. What you do is pick people that you know what they're doing and you train the data set on that. Like you'd find Irish Wonder and probably like Earl, or I don't know, there are some guys out in Spain who I've been watching. They're doing some sexy stuff, and use their disavows because their
Yeah.
disavows are actually crap.
Because
But
you
you
got
can't do it manually. It's a hand job, and there are only so many hand jobs a person can do in a day.
okay. Difference between a hand job and a blow job. At the end of the day, same result.
Same
but
result,
but
but
but the
different
process,
methodology.
different process.
Yeah,
Uh,
different process. One, yeah, no, I could get tired of blowjobs, but hand jobs are easy because I've been working out, so I've got good grip, good muscle on my bicep. So I think I could last longer with the hand than the blow. But there is a limit. Yeah, no complaints yet. There is a limit to what you can do. There
well, is
and
there?
Google has its limits.
That's what I'm going at, because the
Yeah.
idea that, okay, quality raters, first of all,
Mm,
that's why this whole
they are
EAT,
in their thousands
yeah,
though.
yeah, but they are on site. They
Yep,
first of all, they study. People always
exactly.
remember it's the SERP. They don't
Mhm.
audit websites. They audit
No.
an
Yes.
entire page of. So of course
Search results.
you
Absolutely, yeah.
got pages behind the search result page, but
Yep.
it's a whole. It's not. They don't audit your website, but they definitely don't look at backlinks. And but you're right, because
Different team.
the way
Yeah.
people use that disavow file is not correct to validate any machine learning data set.
Yeah.
It was maybe a good idea to save some money, but in effect, and that's also why I think Penguin just failed as a whole, because they couldn't figure it out, because you need the including that human validation and then the whole process. And always remember that links, PageRank is what made Google, but it's also the talon d'Achille. The how do you call that?
Sorry,
Google.
my French isn't good enough yet. Just give me some
Yeah, you
time with
see,
Duolingo.
you know me to be a fake Canadian. Like you were born on. Uh,
I was born on the rich side rather than the French
yeah,
side.
no, come on, like that's
I
so
need to
bad.
spend more time on wineries in France in order to improve my vocabulary.
Achilles heel,
Achilles heel.
Achilles heel. That made Google, but it also made him. There was a beautiful scientific theory dream.
Until people like you and I come along and
Yes,
manipulate it. Yeah.
that's when because we always go back to the same problem. Google needs to be 100% sure that you build that link.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have that proof, then, well, we don't have to build links. We'll just build share links to others and derank them.
If only that was still possible. There actually it is possible now still to
It's
build
not
shitty
really.
links and get someone penalized, but it's all
Nah.
about the exact match, anchor text and velocity. You can do it. It's not cheap. So
I,
why
I,
would you
I,
bother?
I,
I'd
get,
put that money into my own
uh,
site.
I gave you last time. I think the only real with links, shitty links don't work. But the the only really one that works, nobody dares to do it, because
That's true.
the
You
told
did
you
give
this
that
very
tip.
strong link that you build and
Mm.
you remove. I can say it freely because I know nobody listening will have the balls to try it.
I've seen other people use them because they have suppression penalties. And so that's not a penalty. they're experiencing a suppression of the website and they can see a lot of crap coming in. And by using a disavow file, they've been able to improve their rankings by disavowing the crap that's coming in. I haven't tested this myself, but I have thrown a lot of crap at a website and I'm going to test it because I think that there's a possibility that this is still an issue, that you will still see a suppression, but not a complete penalty.
Darling, what about the samples? They
Well,
used
mine
they
tested fine.
no,
I don't know
but
about yours.
they used to give samples. They used to give examples of
Yes,
the bad
and they
links.
still give crappy examples, but what they're doing now is they're actually giving more. So I think it was Marie Haynes who actually said, or someone else, but I think it was Marie who said that she had her penalty recently, did a whole bunch of work, tried to undo it, and that she was given different links that gave a better idea of what was going on and what was going wrong. So there's definitely some more help out there, but Google still does not show you all of your links.
Yeah, but my point is, like you said, like the bad example. Um, in my opinion, the Search Console is made for non-experts, like regular folks, right?
I think regular folk really struggle with it still because it's not user friendly. So if I ask a client to look at their Google Search Console, they will come back confused. But it's not technically diverse and deep enough for us, but it's too technical for clients, for a lot of clients. So it's
That's
it's in a weird in between
because
space.
I was not thinking about the dissolve file. I was more thinking about those crawl
Yeah.
graphs. That they use the median, not the average, the median, which is a different calculation and more
Yep.
accurate. But by
It is more
removing
fair, yeah.
so much data, you kind of give a general trend, but
That's not what people
that's
like you and I want.
yeah, we want it all. Okay,
We're better at do our jobs if we
it,
can see the depth of data.
have you seen the movie Rock and Roller?
No.
Nobody saw that movie. It's by the former boyfriend of Madonna, like the what's his name? One of those British
Guy
director.
Ritchie?
Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah.
Sean Penn?
No, Guy Ritchie. In it's a very cool movie, very entertaining. But the
Let me see if it's
introduction,
on Netflix.
Rock and Roll La with an A at the end. Highly recommended. And the introduction is some people want the sex, some people want the money, some people want the fame, some people want the party, the drugs. A real rock and roller wants the whole lot, wants everything, wants it all.
It's in my Netflix list to watch. But yeah, we do. We want it. But we don't just want it all for the sake of wanting it. We want it all because we can utilize it and we can make changes and alter things and improve things as a result. And, from the disavow file point of view, if we understand what Google is seeing rather than just Majestic or SEMrush or Ahrefs, then we can better fix when things are genuinely not good. So sometimes clients will have bad links not because they were building links, but because they were an authority site that were used by spammers as one of the other 3 links that they throw onto a shitty page to make it look like they're legit. I've worked with the Guggenheim. The Guggenheim is not selling Viagra or, anything like that, or Ugg boots or whatever. But you will still see links to the Guggenheim about these things. It's the same thing with publications.
You can get hacked, and
That
Guggenheim
too, yeah.
can start to sell cheap Louboutin or Rolex replica and Viagra. That happens.
That as well.
To go G-spot on you. The fact that
Oh, baby.
you need to go deep and experience. Nothing replaces the experience and the eye of the expert.
Mhm.
Trouble is, you got to go one by one. You can't
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
batch that kind of thing. And we don't care about backlinks. We care about referring domains first. So we first check that, and then
Yeah.
the link in itself. So the page can matter, but there's I mean, you got those automated tools that flag your link profile. It takes about 2.5 seconds to understand how that algorithm works and how they flag the website. No, no, man, that's whatever you say. One of these tools. Sorry, no, that directory is legit. Okay, it's not because
Yeah.
it's a directory that it's risky. Not all directories.
It's true. In the UK, we have a directory called Alford, and they are a well-respected
Mm,
electronics
for sure.
directory. They're absolutely legit. So if a tool flags that as not legit, bad tool. Kerbu is my favorite
Uh,
tool for that. So you can actually, inside of Kerbu, you can add things to a disavow file, either at domain level or the actual page level. And the reason I like Kerbu is it was made by people who used to be spammers. And so the way that they're checking whether or not a page is likely to be spammy or not is based on their experience and criteria, not
mm,
some mythical algorithm. It's based on what they've done in
I've
their
never,
in
never,
their time as
uh,
spammers.
never tried that tool. I'll take a look.
Oh yeah, do try Kerbu. Kerbu is it's a little bit more techy, but it's got a good interface. And I really like Kerbu because it is so useful from a link building and a link disavowing point of view. So if I've got a client who thinks they have a toxic backlink profile, it is absolutely brilliant. So much better than having like SEMrush or Majestic or anything of those, because those are good for assessing, finding and assessing links. I would never use just Majestic or
Mm.
just SEMrush for link auditing. I love using them together because SEMrush, they're a little less they don't discriminate as much as Majestic seems to. So I will get stuff out of SEMrush. I won't out of Majestic, and it enables me to see what's actually going on. So I love using the two together, and then you can use something like Kerbu to give you the
I,
actually what's going on.
I would say it depends.
Always. It depends. How are
some
you feeling? It depends. Are my nipples hard or not?
sometimes an Excel spreadsheet is good enough if I only
Yes.
have 80 links, okay, to analyze. So that really depends on the size of the and how many
It's
referring
always about the
domains.
size.
Well, you always say that. You always say size matters. I think
So are you going to do a 625,000 link audit on an Excel spreadsheet?
no, of course
I don't
not.
think
Of
so.
course not.
That's
Of course
far
not.
too big to handle in one go. You need help with that.
You, you did, but the fact that you put so much emphasis on size, well, I gotta balance it out with the art of,
Technique.
well, not only technique but even foreplay. Okay, because same with the links. Again, we go back to you're young and fresh and you do all the things, and when you are 16 or 18 or when you are over 40, not the same thing, not the
Yes.
same taboo, and um especially I'm French, so you gotta get into the groove. You gotta do all the thing, and can't just be like about just the like a machine,
It's
we,
true,
we
but
gotta.
also the longer you spend obtaining the link, the more valuable it usually is.
So you
So the
you
more
so you
flirting,
foreplay, yeah.
teasing, and foreplay, the more that you have to do that to obtain the link, the better the link usually is,
Even
even in sex.
when we go a little dark and in the on the cave of the dungeon, so the the cave of the dungeon. I don't know if that works, but you know what I'm
All
saying. If you
dungeons,
if you
they're
want
all
to
inside and dark.
if you want to go a little bit dark, so you use a scraping tool.
Mhm.
Scrapbox, I think, is the most famous. I don't use that one. I use a French one, which is called RDDZ. Uh, Take a look because RDDZ or Z Scrapper is a lot easier to use than to set
Then
up.
Scrapebox.
To set up
I
than
like
Scrap.
Scrapebox. I also like URL Profiler, so I
Yeah,
like both.
because
Scrapebox is good for spammy
but
comments.
because you've been using it since
Since its
1872, okay?
inception,
But
since it was invented.
setting up that thing it reminds me of XRAMer, all those .txt
Um,
files that you had to optimize. And if you missed one, you
yep,
had the
that's it.
default one, which was all Russian crappy. You press go, you go make coffee, you come back, and you're like, Control Z
Yep.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, even when you go gray, let's call it gray hat. No, we
Yeah.
can't pretend
Because we
that.
had the discussion about the black hat
Yes,
thing.
yes, yes. But just scrapping the web and trying happy places to drop a link is not so terrible anymore. But even then, like you with the thrill of, I remember being hypnotized, not blinking, not drinking, not eating all night, and just being like searching that thrill. And I even, for real, I get goosebumps just thinking about the thrill of finding that spot where you can put that link. And the hardest part is not telling anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
The things
once
that I'm sitting on right now that I'm like, "I'm so excited about this. I really wanna share it, but I really can't." I'm so hoping, like, when Ungagged starts back up, I have 2 talks for them that are absolutely gonna blow people's freaking little minds. They are so exciting.
when is that?
Ungagged?
Yeah.
The conference,
No, but
where they
when
don't
when?
allow any recording. It probably won't happen now till 2022,
Oh,
but
okay.
still, there's no chance, even if these guys have cleaned up by then, it's still I have the screenshot evidence. It is so sexy. It's really good. Like, you'll learn just from what I show, you'll learn. It's so sexy. It's really exciting. Really.
talks
I
talk
have a little girl crush on these guys, so
When you don't record the talks, it's another level. It makes a whole world of difference when events don't record and
and
so much.
don't just allow
Yeah.
anyone in. Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, Gary did come to the last one, Gary Ish in, LA, so he came to that one, and a bunch of people decided not to come because he came,
oh
but,
no.
you know, sometimes you've gotta let one guy come and not satisfy the other, no,
Yeah, but
but
he's the most dangerous one of them all.
because
because
he knows.
because
He
he's
can
very
spot
smart,
it a mile off.
because he's a big trawler, and because he's in Mountain View. And that puts he's great, amazing trawler. He's in Mountain View, very smart guy who doesn't say much.
And an amazing cook.
Can't really profile him. I That screams danger for me. Well, when I say danger, it's not like serial killer, but from a borderline
Yes.
SEO perspective.
When you think about the stuff that Matt Cutts admitted to being able to see,
Mm.
and he was, admitting to it, and then you think about what Gary probably sees and just is saying nothing about. Yeah, he's there watching. Who is there? What are they up to? What are they doing? What are they talking about? So a lot of talks that year were dialed back so as not to be too obvious. But I'm sure they're not gonna have a Googler there next time. And maybe I'll do one in Singapore or something to be as far away from Mountain View as possible. But yeah, there are some sexy
No,
things going on over there
Singapore.
right now.
You got two places in the world that are safe: Russia and China.
Well, then they'll have to do one in Russia. But we were talking about disavow files, and it is possible to change your rankings by disavowing the right links. Do not just disavow all links. Anyone who tells you to disavow all Blogspot links because their Blogspot is a fucking idiot and should be hit upside the head with a stick or a 2x4 or possibly a brick
And
because they don't know what they're talking about.
the one who is making a quote, a clip out of context of me saying the two safest place on earth are China and Russia will be also beaten down. I was talking
I'm
about
quite
if you want to
sure there's a
be
lot of out of context stuff being pulled from this.
if you want to be free of Google and Facebook, that's what especially China, safe haven. All my
Well, I've been to St.
shady
Petersburg. I did enjoy I went to visit Semrush in St. Petersburg. It was amazing. It was quite different. It was an interesting experience, and I'm really glad I went. It is a stunningly beautiful city, and if you get a chance, you absolutely should go visit, especially during the Russian white nights when the evenings are very, very long and very warm and very inviting.
It's probably the one event I was invited at and I never went, and that I will regret because I don't think it will come back. But I
No.
heard, well, whatever happened in Moscow stays in Moscow.
It's true.
I heard,
Well, St. But yeah.
I heard pretty wild things about those parties. But
But we were talking about disavow files, and I know we keep getting off topic.
yes,
But what are the myths around disavow files are a disavow file in and of itself is not going to fix anything. You have to try to, if you've got a manual penalty, you have to try to remove them. Disavow won't work. Just because you're not ranking well, a disavow
wait,
file.
slow down. You need what she's saying is removing physically the link is much more effective than than just filling out the disavow file.
Exactly.
Also, one of the reasons why I love private links network, because you can't do that. They're not idiots, okay? You have one joker. You can do it once. Play dumb. Say, I don't know, what are you talking about? I just hired some SEO and I call them up. They say they cleaned what they did. Please check. But I don't know what is a backlink. I'm just a website owner. And it will work because snap of a finger, all the links are gone. And it works, but once.
But other things, you have to get rid of the trash. So if you've taken a manual penalty, you have to at least attempt to get rid of the trash, and you have to do it from a separate account so that if somebody from Google wants to see the emails, they can.
You're soft. You're soft on this one. For such a hardcore lady.
Well, I would say go out, hunt them down, and shoot them, but then you need their passwords. So if you meet them, you're okay. But
meaning you need to take an axe, not like a little pussy knife. Okay, it's you really have to remove the trash.
If it's shit, you've got to try to get it removed.
Yeah.
If it's YouTube or whatever, just because it's Blogspot doesn't make it bad. But if it's like the Telegraph newspaper or Le Monde or something like that, don't ask them to remove it just because you've taken a penalty. That's unlikely what's going to be causing it. It's going to be that, 2,500 links from that shitty PBN you bought that also sold it to every fucking casino going. That'll be the ones you want to get rid of. But you do need to prove to Google that you asked for them to be removed. So if they're not removed, you can prove it.
If you show good faith and efforts, they are not dogs. They're not. They are not there to punish you for life, and On another context for spam indexing, I remember the website was 25 million pages. I told them, so they got manual penalty for spam indexing. I told them remove 90%,
Yeah,
90%, kill it.
yeah,
They did it. Less than a week later, they were back.
exactly. So it's not just about using the disavow. It's about getting rid of stuff. So if you've taken a manual penalty, get rid of it. Don't just use the disavow file.
Last recommendation: don't do a little bit. Submit
Okay.
like a re-inclusion request submission thing, and do no, do it
Now
for
they just take
real.
someone off.
Go all the way, because you're gonna bother them. It takes time, and if you do a little bit and you just submit, and it will annoy them. So
Yeah,
they don't like that.
absolutely.
Don't waste their time. Don't pretend it. Don't pretend that they don't see. They see everything, and they see a lot more than even you can see. So
Absolutely.
it's
So if you're going to use the disavow file, it should be because you've spotted some shitty stuff. You've emailed them, they've not removed it, and you've got a suppression, not a manual penalty. So then you can add it to your disavow file and you should see yourself pop back up. But do not leave the shit in if you can get it removed.
again, it's like that bunny boiler girlfriend or boyfriend. Sometimes they stick, and it's hard to.
It's hard to get rid of them.
But you have to. I mean, otherwise you will be miserable for the rest of your life, because you will. Yeah. And some are just, it's over.
Yeah.
I start a new website. Okay, it's better
Yeah.
to put cross on the grave of that website, and maybe that not for manual penalties, but algorithmic penalties, they expire. So if you have one of those that just expires by itself, pop, the website will pop back up without doing any changes. But yes, if it's not a branded website, if it's not, don't be too emotional. It's just a website, okay? It's not.
Yeah.
They won't hurt. You won't bleed, and your heart will be, and you will be. It's just a website. You can.
In the words of Celine Dion, your heart will go on.
Oh my God, Canadians. You don't have any like alternative rock, like the old British, or
What, Nickelback?
like garbage? Is there like any Canadian? No, garbage is not, definitely not Canadian. Even they're not even British. English. They're what, Irish or something. I don't know. I might get into trouble if I call Irish British and.
Yeah, don't call Canadians Irish, but definitely don't call the Irish British.
No, but Celine Dion. She's like, if there's one singer from Canada, it's always Celine Dion.
Well, yeah, we also have Bryan Adams. And I'm sorry to say that Justin Bieber is ours. Nickelback is ours.
Yeah, but
Rush is ours.
Justin
The Bare Naked
Bieber.
Lady.
Justin Bieber. That's autotune. Did you ever check those autotune files from Justin Bieber's?
No, but I'm quite sure it would be autotune. I'm not surprised.
Anyways,
However, yes.
anyways, to conclude on the disavow, it's like everything else. You in SEO, you hear one thing and the opposite. So now, be careful who you take your advices from. We
Yeah.
are kind of joking around and playing here, but I admit that I can be wrong on many things. We disagree on certain things. At the end of the day, is, do you get the results or not? Okay, does it work or not? That's it. The truth is on the screen. So don't get trapped into this type of SEO freelancer agency who we spoke about that, okay? Client satisfaction and dragging you on for month and
Yeah.
month. it could
Mm.
take months to especially if you're waiting for between core updates to recover from a penalty. But a
Yep,
manual penalty, that's a different
that's serious.
and it could be very quick to fix if you do a good job. Like I told you, less than a week. Links or spam indexing doesn't matter. I got back into the index in less than a week by really doing it all the way.
But you've gotta go hard.
You gotta go hard. You
Mm.
can't just because otherwise, I mean, what do you look like? You're like you're naked in front of the lady, and you start to to be a little bit like
But you go to semi
scared.
and you
You're
get in.
impressed, and
Yeah.
you're like, and you're gonna lose everything because you're not gonna be able to perform well because it's going to your head. And yeah, she's so hot and so sexy, but then you're like, oh my god, how can I handle that? I'm not up to the task. It's too small. I can't. She won't.
She's judging me.
She's judging me. I'm not. It's not big enough. Her name is Judith, and if it's not like 50 centimeters, it's
50 centimeters would be a lot for any woman to handle.
oh, even for a horse, I think. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's conclude this one.
And also, it would have to bend. Ow.
Well,
It would have
and
to, like, spiral inside of you. That would I can't imagine a guy would be comfortable.
what what goes in must go out. So one way or another, it will it will come
When
out.
it folds back on itself and comes out, yeah, then you know the guy is uncomfortable.
But of course you heard all those crazy uh, emergency room stories about people coming in with
I've seen, yes, yeah.
things stuck.
Yep, never freeze anything before you put it inside of yourself. That's the best piece of advice anyone could give you. But
or
that's not about the disavow file. We should probably cut this part.
to the file. No, we're gonna conclude and we're gonna move on for next week to the next topic, which is about the idea that just get more links. You know, it's all about links, anyways. It is the most powerful SEO asset for sure, but are all links created equals?
Mm,
Internal links, backlinks, citations also. What's the influence
mhm.
there? We spoke already about the social bullshit
Yeah,
impact on rankings, so that's done. But let's keep on talking links next no,
absolutely.
next week.
Ooh,
Okay, now you're ready for your sexy goodbye.
I never say goodbye. I only ever say, "Until next time."
Oh wow, that's a slam dunk. Wow, that's hot. Until next time, take care and protect yourself. Okay,
Always.
always don't let the the juice flow everywhere without protection. Okay, let's cut, please.